Okay, welcome to lesson 8. We are going to download the files first, then we open Photopea, and we open files from computer. We're going to go with the start file first. Got a cool little spaceship. Let's Control-0 to zoom in a little bit. Okay, notice you've got two layers. You have a template layer, that's where the letters are, and you've got the spaceship layer. Okay, now what we're doing on this lesson is we are working on paths. So we're going to choose the pen tool because that's what we use to create paths in Photoshop. Now make sure up at the top you change this to path. We're going to make the fill nothing, and we want to make sure it's on Unite. Okay, very important. Okay, I'm going to click on layer 1. And then I click once on the A, the little dot. And then here's where it gets interesting. I click on the B and hold down and drag it out to the little b. See how it created a curve? Very cool. Now I have a corner here, so I'm going to do something kind of interesting. I'm going to hold down Alt and click on the little B dot for the big one, and it gets rid of that extra handle. Okay, I don't have to do anything else. Let go of Alt, and I'm going to click on C and drag it to the little c. Click on D, drag it to the little d. Click on E, drag it out to the little e. And then, because this is a straight line, I'm just going to click on F once. Just boom, click. Now I cut a little bit of it, and that's okay. Okay, click on G and drag it to the little g. Click on H and drag it to the little h. And actually, you can see that one cut it off a little bit. I might adjust it a little more, pull out a little farther, and let go. Now, this is another hard corner, so I'm going to hold down Alt and click on the blue dot of the H. Okay, I'm at I. Click it and drag it to the little I. Okay, we got another corner, so hold down Alt, click on the blue dot. Okay, click on J, drag it to the little j. Click on K, drag it to the little k. Okay, it's not perfect. Actually, let's step back, Control-Z that. And let's hold down Alt and click on the J. Because I think there's enough of a corner there that it might be good if we do it this way. Okay, back to K and drag it to the little k. Yeah, that looks much better. Click on L and drag it to the little l. Click on M and drag it out to the little m. Okay, that was a little funky, but we'll fix it later. This is a corner. Hold down Alt and click on the blue M dot. Okay, click on N, drag it to the little n. Click on O, just a solid click because it's sort of a straight line. We got a straight line up to P, so I'm going to just click once on P. Click on Q and drag it to Q. Click once on R because it's a straight line. Click once on S because that's a straight line. All right, now here's where this gets tricky. I'm going to go up to the A dot, click and drag it out to Final. Boom. Now you'll notice if you did it right, it should say Close Path. Now if it doesn't say that, Control-Z, go back and do that, click to A again. Okay, but it should be good at this point. Okay, now we've created a path. Okay, first thing I want to do is I look at the path. Hey, look, we have a work path. Okay, go back to Layers, and we're going to go File and save it as a PSD. We don't want to have to redo that if we don't have to. Okay. All right, once you've saved it, click on the Paths tab. We're going to work on this work path. If you go down to the bottom, the first little thing is a dotted square. It says Selection. Click on that. Okay, notice it has selected your path. Now go back to Layers. Make sure you're on Layer 1. It's very important. We're going to go up to the top, and we're going to click Layer, New, and Layer via Copy. Boom. Now notice you've created a new layer, layer 2. We're going to rename this spaceship. It's not spaceship, spaceship. Okay. And then let's just turn off the template and layer 1 so you can see what you created. So there you did. You basically created a path and then cut it out. Now notice it's a little jagged. We'll fix that later. Right now, let's go to the magic wand tool. Make sure your tolerance is at 32. And we're going to take out this little green chunk on the tail because we want that to be see-through. Now, as I clicked on it with the magic wand tool, notice it didn't get everything, but that's okay. Click delete, and we're going to pull that out, and we'll clean it up later. Control D to deselect, and then we're going to grab the move tool. All right. Right now, let's save. File, save it as a PSD. Close that. And we're going to go back up to File, and we're going to open our second file, our 08 landscape. Double click on that, and this is what opens. I'm going to Control 0 so I can see it a little better. Go back to your original file, the start file. Make sure you're on Move and you're on the spaceship layer. You're going to click and drag, don't let go. Take it all the way up to the landscape tab, and then bring it down once it changes, and let go then. Now you'll notice the spaceship has popped in on top of everything else. I'm going to have you drag the spaceship right above the background. Okay. Now we're going to move it back up later, but for now, so we can see everything else when we're working on it, we're going to leave it like that. Now you notice you have a guide that's a star guide and a retro shape guide. Go ahead and turn on your retro shape guide. All right. Now we're going to create a shape. So let's go back to our pen tool. And why don't we click on the background layer to do this? Now it's important that we go up in our pen tool and we change it to shape, or it's not going to work. And we're going to change our fill color to this kind of bluish shape. And we're going to adjust it a little bit. I'm going to make it a little more blue, so it's sort of a cyan color, and hit OK. Let's turn the stroke off because we don't want that. So we're going to do no stroke, and everything else should be set right. Okay, we're on our pen tool. Click on A and drag it to B, and then let go. Click on C and drag it to D and let go. Click on E and drag it to F and let go. Okay, now we don't have any letters here, but we're going to go to this one under the wing. Click and drag. Boom. Go to the next one. Click and drag down. Come on, come on. Boom. Go to this one here. Click and drag. Very cool. And then our last one, we just click once on A to close this the shape. Oops, I did it too much. Control Z, just one click. Boom. Okay, so we got this little kidney bean shape. What we're going to do with this is we are going to turn it down to about 30%. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Notice it is a path. Okay, we are going to click on the path tab and then click down here below the path. Okay, that turns that off. Go back to your layers and let's turn off the retro shape guide. Okay, very cool. Let me check my notes here. All right, this is where I left off. I'm going to right click on the shape and I'm going to rasterize it. So I'm going to turn it from a shape into a raster image. Okay. Now I have this new shape layer. We're going to rename this retro shape and hit enter. All right. Now I'm going to come down to my rectangle tool, and I'm going to choose parametric shape. Click on that tool. Okay, we're going to change our fill to white. No stroke. We're going to make it a shape. We're going to choose star and make sure it has 11 sides and the inner radius is 50. Okay, I'm going to grab my microscope and I'm going to zoom in on this shape a little bit. Go back to my shape tool and I'm going to turn on my star guide. All right, now if I go to that little dot in the center and I hold down Shift and drag out toward the outside, you'll notice it creates a star shape. Try and get it all the way out to the edge and then let go of the mouse, then let go of Shift. Okay, we've created a star shape. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. Click on the magic wand and click inside the star, and it selects inside the star. Click on the retro shape, turn off actually the shape 1 layer so we can see what we're doing, and then just hit delete. And it basically cuts out the star in that layer. Control D to deselect, turn off your star guide, and now you've got your cool little kidney shape. Now I have my spaceship overlapping a little bit, so let's go back to our spaceship layer. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Go to my move tool, and make sure you're on the spaceship. I'm going to click edit, transform, and rotate. And I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to watch up top to where it rotates to about 12 degrees, like negative 12 degrees. That's close enough. 12.2 is fine. So I want the nose of the spaceship just like it's flying up off the horizon. Okay, to get it where I want it, click check, and that's where it should be. Now I can see my star. Okay, so now we don't lose our little kidney bean shape here, and we don't lose our star. All right, moving on. Let's rename. Actually, I think we're good. Okay, we're going to make some new shapes. Come down to your shape tool and we're going to change it to custom shapes. And we're going to go up to the shapes up top. I'm going to make sure it's a shape, make sure we've done a fill. And it's going to, you click on this little box up here, it's going to bring up our shapes. And let's find the star. Okay, I know it's down a ways. There's some stars. So we're going to choose this solid star here. Okay, click over here to get it out of the way. And I'm going to hold down Shift and draw a little star down here. Okay, very cool. Let's drop a small one in here. Put one here. Want them varying sizes. Put a small one. Let's put a big one here. Actually, let's undo that. I'm going to start higher. Put that there. And another little one here. Okay, so I've created a bunch of stars. Those all should be on the same layer. That's okay. I'm going to click on this one. Let's turn it down. That's not what I wanted to do. To about 65. I missed a step somewhere. Okay. We're going to turn all of these. Actually, if I click on one, hold down shift and click on down to 2, and I can turn them all down to 65. Okay, and I have shape 1. Okay, so it should be shape 2 through 7. So they should all be at 65 opacity, so you can see through them a little bit. Okay, very cool. All right, now I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to open and place the Retro Toys title. It's a PNG. Okay, and I'm going to drag that up to the top. Let's drag it up here. We need to resize it, so I can click on, make sure I'm on the Move tool, my Transform controls to open that up. Hold down Shift, and actually get the little arrows, click on it, and then hold down Shift so it doesn't change the size. And I want it to go, you know, pretty good across. If I can keep it from going over this star, that's cool. Hit Enter to get it where I want. All right, now I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to go to my Parametric Shape tool. Okay, make sure it's still a shape. We're still filling with white. We still got 11 on the sides. And I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to put this right in the middle of the O. Okay, get it to where I want it. Hold down Shift and then click. I'm going to make this come out to the edge. Boom. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this other O. Try and find the middle of it. Drag it out. Cool. Let me zoom out so I can see what I got. Very nice. Click on the Move tool. Let's go click off our Transform controls. All right, I like that. That looks very cool. All right, let's click on the Text tool and then open the character window. We'll make sure our size is 10. Change our color to white and hit OK. And down here, I'm going to close that now that I've got it how I want. See, my text tool is chosen and I've got white at the top. I got a 10. I'm going to click down at the bottom and drag and make a text box. Now I might be able to resize this later, but for now I just want to type in there. I'm going to put capital C, copyright, and then put your name. I'm going to put C.W. Thayer Designs. Okay. And then while that's still selected, I grab this corner and try and bring it in a little closer. All right, click on the Move tool. We're going to go Edit, Transform, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees to the left. Okay, and then I'm just going to drop that right in this bottom left corner. Okay, looks nice, looks nice. Okay, before I move on, I've got my star guide layer. I'm going to delete that. So just click on the layer, delete the retro shape guide, delete that. This little shape 1 that's turned off, I can delete that. Okay, I've got all the layers that I need. I'm not sure why these stars are all separate, but for some reason it did it that way. I don't know. Those should all be one layer, but they're not. I did something weird, but it works. All right, so it looks pretty good, but we want to do some cleanup on that spaceship. So I click on the spaceship layer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Control and click on the little spaceship in the little tiny thumbnail picture. Notice it's selected the spaceship. Okay, that's a pretty cool function. Okay, what I'm going to do is go down to the bottom, and I'm going to click on Add Raster Mask. Okay, so it's created a layer mask. Make sure that black is on top, and I'm going to click on my paintbrush. I'm going to zoom in on that tail because that was the thing I wanted to work on first. So zoom in, I'm going to grab this hand and move me over a little bit. Now, I'm going to go in here. I want to get rid of this green. If I use the brackets, I can get it down to where it's about the right size. The brackets are right by the enter or the P key, the left and right brackets. Now I can click here and start taking out some of this green. Now a trick I think I taught you is if you hold down Shift and then click a little bit farther over, you just quick tap, it draws a line from the dot you were at to the next dot. So that's one way you can get nice crisp lines. Okay, let's get the same thing up here. Click once, go down, get to the end, click again. I'm going to go all the way down here and try and clean that up. Okay, much better. Same thing here, click once, and then I just keep clicking along the course of that. Okay, not too bad. Might just with the mouse try and clean some of that up. Okay, that's cool. This down here on the little engine is sort of a mess, so I might try and clean that up a little bit. Get some clicks. It's a little jagged here on the bottom, but it's not terrible. Might do a little bit of this on the back. I know I didn't like the top window, so let me grab this hand, bring it over. Oh yeah, let's try and clean that up. Remember, I'm painting this in, and if I mess up, I can always switch. Like if I accidentally, oh no, I can Control Z, or I can switch to white and paint it back in. Because remember, I'm not actually painting the spaceship, I'm creating a mask, a layer mask. Okay, switch back to black, and I'm going to come in here and try and get rid of some of this. Okay, same thing up here on the nose, or on the hood, as it were. Okay, that's a little better. I could probably pull out some of this. You don't want to obsess over it. You'll go down the rabbit hole and we'll never see you again. You'll still be working on it. You know, but clean it up a little bit. Maybe this here. Just a hair. All right, let me check the front of this and make sure that's all cool. Okay, not too bad. Control Z that. Take a look. That's pretty clean. When you zoom out, you can, you know, hide some of those little details that you thought were super important. That looked pretty good. All right, let's save it one last time. I don't know if I like where the Retro Toys is. If I really wanted to, I could grab the title and hold down Control, Shape 8 and 9, and then I could use the Move tool and move that over if I really wanted to, just a little bit to balance it a little. Depends on how yours looks. All right, one more time. File, save it. File, export as a JPEG, and turn it in. And you are done.